What's up guys, Wordup here today with probably the most awaited Legion video, which is the Doomhammer artifact and the optimal path. This is obviously so important to many because what you choose early on isn't something you can change efficiently, so a mistake with your path early will impact you later on, and there's not a great deal that you can really do about it, so no pressure on me reading this here. First, before I get into it, a few little stats and numbers on projected gains and the whole artifact mechanic. You can gain artifact power through a variety of sources, those being open world, world quests, dungeons, PvP, generally any meaningful endgame content at 110, or along the way. Every 5 days, or lower if you're returning late, you should gain an artifact knowledge level through the work orders, which apply a multiplier to AP gains to increase the value of each token and increase the pace that you gain traits. So, your artifact, the Doomhammer, is the first thing you get in Legion with your opening artifact quest. Here I'll detail the path you'll go down over the course of the next few months, and recommend traits, and after the path, I'll go through important traits to make note of, and finally touch on relics a little. Starting out is your active ability, which you get instantly and is tied to the Doomhammer itself, called Doom Winds. This is a 1 minute cooldown, 6-second buff, and causes all auto attacks, including offhand strikes, to trigger Wind Fury, and increase the damage of all Wind Fury, including procs from abilities, by 200%. This is arguably one of the best artifact actives across all of the classes, providing massive on-demand single-target burst, a surge of Maelstrom, triggering any weapon procs, such as Flame Tongue, and also having a hefty chance to give a Stormbringer proc or two. From there, the first trait you grab is the mandatory 8% Storm Strike damage in Hammer of Storms, and then we move up the left side of the weapon first with Gathering Storms to feed Crash Lightning into a boost for Storm Strike, and then Wind Strikes for the attack speed on Stormbringer procs, which is one of the power traits. After that, we drop a point in Alpha Wolf for the AoE damage effect on Feral Spirit, which is a really powerful and very versatile trait for group content. Next, we grab Spiritual Healing to boost Healing Surge. Whilst a weak trait in general, it opens up access to the next two. First being Doom Wolves, which provides a massive boost to the output of Feral Spirit in single target, granting them extra unique abilities. And then we take Storm Flurry for more Storm Strike hits. From there, we jump over to the right side for Elemental Healing to grant a hop from Astral Shift. Another weak trait, but gates the powerful right side. Raging Storms is next, which is a massive power spike for Stormbringer Storm Strikes. And then we move down the side, grabbing Spirit of the Maelstrom for Maelstrom in Ghost Wolf during combat, which is very weak. And lastly, we end on Unleash Doom to round out the right side, which is an extremely powerful gold trait, and it finishes up all of the Storm Strike traits to power it up fully. After this point, you'll be at 21, which is the estimate for Mythic Emerald Nightmare to release, and from here, you move down to Weapons of the Elements for more direct damage on our weapon enhancement spells, such as Rockbiter, Flame Tongue, and Frostbrand. Gathering of the Maelstrom after for additional Maelstrom and Rockbiter and Boulder Fist casts, and then Wind Surge for increased Wind Fury damage, which works very well with Doom Winds. Finally, we round out the artifact by going back to the far left and taking Forged in Lava for increased Lava Lash damage, Doom Vortex for our very weak third and final golden trait, completing the artifact and unlocking the Paragon trait for a flat damage increase where you'll be dumping the remainder of your artifact power. Some important things to note. First, Doom Vortex is absolutely the weakest golden trait and is left to the last for that reason, despite requiring less investment than the right side choices. Next, the reason we move up the left side is a combination of the power of Wind Strikes and the flexibility of Gathering Storms, as it's our only pseudo AoE trait outside of Vortex. Also note on the right side that with Weapons of the Elements, the damage boost only affects the initial hit, not the subsequent procs like Flame Tongue and Hailstorm, which do make it slightly worse. When it comes to relics, there's only a few options here. Do remember that eye level is almost always king now that we have a powerful weapon damage scaling in Storm Strike, so don't overthink relics too much. This is more a guideline for choosing between relics of similar item levels. First, Wind Strikes is the ideal, and after that, Weapons of the Elements, and lastly, Gathering of the Maelstrom as the three traits that you could look toward. Points in Gathering Storms can have some great uses in AoE circumstances, and these relics should be considered strongly if you are mostly doing Mythic Plus dungeons. That covers the artifact then, and if there are any significant changes over the course of the expansion, I'll try my best to note them. There's a reference image below that you can use to keep track of your progression in the artifact, and if this has helped you, please hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in Legion.